whether you value, the overall level shown, because Wesley started really, really slowly, or if you think more about momentum.
Yep. Well, obviously, these guys know that you're only as good as your next chess game or maybe your next chess move, really. So I think a lot of the best players have that required short-term memory loss, and now they're going to get back to it. But yeah, here Wesley gets the white pieces, almost like we're restarting the match, because if you're just joining, Wesley had white in the first game, didn't play very well. Vincent won that first game. Wesley switches to d4 instead of e4, which all the way back to game one, we had a Spanish.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this opening here. Bishop to h4, you can tell from the bar on the side that we are still very much in theory, and that's the move that I was wondering about. Would we see the ultra-aggressive g5? This really changes the nature of the position. Black is foregoing even the obvious bishop b7 in favor of kicking the bishop, playing knight e4, which is a move, of course, only possible due to the pin from the bishop on b4. So are we going to see bishop takes or a5? Yep, we do see bishop captures on c3. And I like these positions for black overall.
Yeah.
I find them really difficult to play properly with white. Now, I have to say, sometimes I run into a strong player, Danny, and they play it well for white, and I'm like, oh, that's how you're supposed to do that. But it's few and far between. Like, this is exactly right. What do you do against h5, h4? Like, I'm already panicking.
You're speaking my love language here with the NIMZO-INDIAN, Aman. You know that I play this system as black as well, and I love these positions for black, but I have had the same experience where I tend to have a lot of fun playing the positions as black with this h5 idea. You also have c5 at some point as a NIMZO player, and you barrel down on these double pawns. But when you go against a strong player who knows how to use the bishop pair, these dark squares are potentially weak long-term. You can't have games that backfire very quickly for black. So we'll see what Vincent does if he figures out the right way, and maybe he gives us a bit of a lecture here on how white is supposed to play. Or not. We'll see.
Yeah, I think this is the case. Like, I've had the experience both ways. I've played this with white, and then my opponent plays this with black, and I'm like, oh, this is a forced win. This is how it feels all the time when I play this with black. And I think Wesley is kind of feeling that right now. Having to play h3, massive concession. Anytime the knight captures the bishop on g3 and you have to take with the f pawn away from the center, makes the e pawn look quite weak. This is bad. It's not the end of the world. It's a modest evaluation, but certainly we're going to see moves like d6. The knight from b8 can go to d7. Black can play queen e7 or queen f6, and we see queen f6 to start, with the idea not only of bishop takes f3, but also pawn to g4, and the queen on f6 guards the rook on h8.
Yeah, and the computer agrees with Aman so much that it highlights it before it's even played. g4 is on the board, the queen guards the rook, so you're not worried about the trade. This is ugly. I mean, we both have applauded these positions for black. Again, it's been a part of my repertoire for a long time, but I don't think I play it as well as Wesley So does. This is like looking just so smooth. Doubled pawns, bad pawn here. By the way, these are still doubled in the traditional NIMZO. I just love this position for black.
Yeah, Vincent has basically come out of this break, and he's looking fantastic here. Queen to h6, hitting the e3 pawn. I'm still waiting for d6, knight d7. You can also develop that knight to c6, and the reason being that you hit a5 with a great tempo on the queen. And in this particular position, I think it's all about castling and then activating the rest of the pieces. So no need to be slow with d6, knight d7 when you can just develop in one move, knight c6.
Yeah, Wesley's got to figure out his approach as white here, because it didn't work with e4. This is not looking good here. Okay, you're desperately just trying to get rid of your weaknesses with these moves. You want to trade them instead of letting them just be targeted, but feels like such an easy position for black to play. Like you said, you don't have to do anything special. Castle.
Yeah, you can't even play c4 because you can just take on d4. So this is not even going to be that good. I am surprised by c takes on b6 a little bit. Maybe he had aspirations like king b8, rook c8, knight a5 to try to use the c file. But I do think that take that a pawn, put it on c7. I would probably prefer that. And then I would play knight a5.
Yeah, this feels like the more sound positional thing to do. They always used to say, take toward the center, whoever invented that rule. Shout out to NIMZO-INDIAN or, whatever chess classical theorist it was. But I also do like Vincent's idea that you highlighted. I think if you can get the knight to a5 and the rook to c8, you will have a target on c3. So black's edge remains regardless. This knight, a bit of a donkey over here. Although if the queen doesn't stay, maybe the knight has a chance to relocate and improve at some point. So there are some weird, unique things about the position. Still a lot of chess left.
Yeah, I wonder about the move knight a5 because I do have the impression that if black secures something like, I mean, it doesn't even feel that good, but pawn to d5, if I play d5 and knight a5, I almost feel like white can't move the e pawn, can't move the c pawn, can't move the knight. Like there's just so many things that you can't do. It just feels like a terrible position.
Yeah, what are you relying on here? Like, is the queen coming in? No. Okay, I'm wondering what the queen was doing on a3. Here goes c4, and Wesley wants c5. I guess one idea is the queen guards e3 as well, so that does free up the king's duties here a little bit. So Wesley fighting to stay in this.
Yeah, doing a decent job. c5 is going to be annoying, and if you can, okay, yeah, he is going to reroute that king, and due to what you pointed out, queen on a3 actually very, very helpful in order to reroute that king to f2. And yeah, you wanted to get out of the center. Knight b3 just moves looming in the position.
I'm liking Wesley's chances more and more to hold it. Again, the queen, as we said, guarded e3. If the king gets here, it feels like a lot more what it was supposed to be. And yes, Vincent can start to open the position. I just think that Wesley's pieces are looking way more coordinated now than they were a few moves ago with the king on d2.
Yeah, so he's going to try to go for the full plan of knight a5, bishop a6, rook c8. It's going to take a little bit of effort because you don't want to undefend the d-pawn, and a move like queen e7, you might be nervous about allowing, as you pointed out, knight g6 and knight f4. That knight re-enters the game, which is not desirable.
No, I'm right there with you. We're seeing the difficulties of how. Okay, rook d7 is interesting. Maybe it's some. How do you solve the problem of guarding d6 enough to let the rook do its thing without letting the knight back in? I'm asking it borderline rhetorically. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Neither does Vincent right now. He's struggling.
I was almost thinking of playing the move knight b7. First of all, I don't like allowing c5. The move c5 has been bothersome for a while. Knight b7 guards the c pawn, maybe allows me to shift to the c file, just like temporarily while I figure things out.
I mean, you're totally right. Wesley missed his chance to fully simplify and get rid of this weakness on c4. Now he has it potentially again, I think. I think c5 again is the best move here for white. We'll see if he finds it the second time around.
Is d5 a move? Just because the queen now moved away from f5, so made me think, well, d5 trying to take the f pawn could be an idea all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's actually multiple pawn breaks to be calculating here, whether it's c5 or d5. Bishop comes to d3, and maybe Wesley still just thinks he's worse, so he's kind of playing tickle with the position, and that looks like what he's doing. He's like, look, I'm actually happy to draw this given how poorly that NIMZO-INDIAN went for me as white. Sometimes it's the psychological thought there that maybe makes him miss moves like d5 or c5.
Yep. I'm still looking at the move c5 and thinking that it looks pretty good. But Wesley, he doesn't need to go for it. He's up a little bit on time. I don't actually know what black is going to do. I haven't found that answer to bringing the rook to the c file. I mean, look at the computer shouting for f4. Oh my god, what a move.
Oh, f4 overloads the pawn structure. You couldn't take with the g pawn, boys and girls, because the knight was hanging with check. Vincent finds this move, and black is back in the driver's seat. So Wesley does pay the price, Amon, for playing tickle instead of looking for a more concrete defensive solution with c5 or d5. Now he's in trouble by waiting too long.
And you have to keep the queens on because I'm looking at the position if you trade the queens, and it doesn't even look that bad for white. So the reason that the engine is like absolutely laughing at, -4 here has to be because white is essentially without that knight on h4, and the game is about to open up. Knight a5, pawn d5, like just anything possible to open things up.
Yeah, and the king is also so naked that, I mean, not that you would want to play a move like e5 and let the knight in. I'm just proving the point that in a practical game, Amon, this king is in trouble no matter what you do, right? As white, I mean, this king is going to be wide
Checkmate
open and
threatened.
feeling. Yeah, by the checkmate was threatened with knight d4. Everybody, sorry, making the point about the king being open. Should just point out that there's checkmate on the board, and yeah, Vincent's about to put this away. Look at this, just
D5
rolling
is
right
critical.
now.
Yeah, look at the knight on h4, the queen on g6. Like, he's actually leaning back because he knows 1,000% there's no way to mess this up now. Everything is hanging. The king is in the middle. It's got no support. These players know this is about to be a checkmate soon.
Fantastic chess here from Vincent. But again, Wesley did the best he could to defend that bad opening. It was a horrific NIMZO to start, but then just waited too